Did you know with globalization and automation, many industries will go out of business in the near future? Maybe next year your company will have to diversify and add a new product or a service line. The question is, can you face the upcoming challenges with your existing workforce? Companies realize that under most challenging circumstances, the cost of acquiring new employees often comes with the cost of giving up old and loyal employees, demotivated staff, and toxic work culture. Are you ready to bear all that cost? Why not take the smart approach and upskill the existing ones by switching to edwatch? With easy-to-watch self-paced short lessons, flexible live classes with progress review and manager reporting on our LMS, convenience of multiple languages, live Q&A with trainers, emotional intelligence support and career coaching services, keeping your staff high on skills was never this simple. Plus, our modular assessments with 60% passing criterion ensures credibility of the certification. Strive and thrive with edwatch, your online resource partner.
Assalamu alaikum, hello, and welcome to the edwatch studio. I'm Sana Quadri, the founder and CEO of edwatch. Digital transformation and financial inclusion are the buzzwords these days. But what most of us don't understand is that as challenging the implementation of technology is, the knowledge of accounting practices and accounting treatment is as much an issue today. And because, with this technology comes innovation, and with innovation comes complexity. So it's very important especially for banking sector, financial services in general, because we're not just responsible or accountable to the stakeholders. We are also custodian of assets of the general public. So transparency becomes more of an issue for this particular sector. So it is very important that fintechs have a strong control or an understanding of accounting practices, and they have people who are actually capable enough and strong enough to take on the challenges. I'm really excited because today we have Ewa Woroszył. She is serving as a Group CFO and board member for Blue Media, which is a fintech, a technology company which provides financial services. And she has an extensive experience in financial services. And she has also extensive experience working within the assurance and advisory group. She has experience of working in multiple regions, and she is with us today. I'm sure that I'm not going, how much I introduce her, I'll not be doing justice to her introduction. Hello, Ewa. Thank you very much for joining us today. And so excited to have you.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, I'm very excited to talk to the community today.
Thank you very much.
And do you want me to say more about my experience?
Or? Yes, please go ahead. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, so I have around 16 years Big Four PwC experience in assurance, chartered accountant with ACCA. And after my tenure in PwC, I have spent several years, more than 10 years already as CFO in fintech, startups, and marketplaces. I also was a CFO for 10 countries in the media group, Dentsu Media. So we could say, I have a broad area of experience from advisor to really CFO and focused on finance transformations in fintech.
Well, that's quite an interesting experience you have, because you have both experience of working with, I could see, assurance and advisory companies like firms like PwC, then you with fintechs and startups. So that's an interesting experience you have. One thing I'd like to understand, though you have worked in multiple regions, but right now you are working basically based in Poland. So what IFRS structure do you have? How do you adopt? Do you have additional standards, that are, you could say, that act as a complement to the IFRSs?
Actually, Poland is a member of the European Union, and we have to comply with European Union law, which has adopted IFRS in full. So we have IFRS mandatory for listed companies and for banks or security issuers. Yeah. So this is the main base for European members. There are also European Commission directives for specific directives that we have to comply with. One of them is PCD from 2013, PSD2, I think PSD2, yeah, PSD2, which actually is a base for Fintech's business model, because this directive allows Fintechs to access the same information as banks have. So based on this, the Fintechs grew and created its business models. In terms of Poland itself as a separate country, we have Polish accounting standards, which are mandatory for the rest of the entities. So basically, you can have a company which is limited liability, who can do both IFRS and local standards. Pretty complicated.
That's again complicated, but it's a long list of standards that have to be complied with. But nevertheless, it's important, I understand. So asking the very question that I began with, what are the challenges? Because you are looking after the fintech, the financial services, you've had a good experience of working for fintechs. So what challenges do you see as an accountant, and how do you cope up with those challenges?
Yes, as you know, fintechs are heavily technological-based companies. So, as an accountant or finance person, we have to really be close to those technologies, to those business models, and those are challenging times when you start to really go deep to the business, try to understand the models, the databases, and how this whole environment works, and try to really translate it into accounting language. So in my experience, I had 3 years restatements of financial statements for one company, also technology based. And really the main, what I can say, the best thing for accountants is to learn the language, to be close to IT people and try to understand them, which is very, very difficult.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that's very difficult for accountants. What would you the standard, in my experiences, I also have some experience working with the financial services, but the real issue with the fintechs or the financial services that I find the most is regarding IFRS 15. So do you find it as challenging, or would you like to explain how would you see challenges across this standard?
Yes, IFRS 15 revenue recognition is a big challenge because the revenue in fintechs, first of all, is based on complicated in-house developed systems. Okay, so the creators of those system of course have no knowledge about accounting, revenue recognition, or anything like that. So when really coming to the details and try to find out what's the case, what's the issue, we have to spend a lot of time. The most important issue for e-com, for PSPs providers like we are, probably I would say is principal versus agent consideration or recognition, because we have to really there are problems because the payment system providers work either with merchants or with system as a service platforms, and there is issue to recognize who is actually the party involved in providing the services, which party relates to setting the price, is responsible to set the price, and also sometimes it's very difficult to identify what are the services and who is selling what. We have several business models for also profit splits, for example, and this is really time consuming, and sometimes it could be even stated both ways. So you could find argument for both, that you are agent and also principal at the same time. So there is a big issue how to explain this to auditors, for example. And the best way to go is to find written arguments, to really find as many arguments with the business to support your idea. And this is the way to go, but it is not stated, it is not said that when some other auditor will come, it will have completely different view. So those are the big challenges for CFOs. Try to really try to gather as much evidence as possible. So this is what I would say.
I completely understand. Identification of a principal and agent when there are too many parties involved in a transaction as far as fintechs are concerned. So it could be an issue. It is an issue. And you said it very well that you have to do your background work so that you have enough evidence to support your stance. That's a very important point. So now I have I have a very important question as an accountant, is that what now you see these challenges, these are not some challenges that we already know, because there is increasing the spend, there's ever increasing spending in the IT sector, especially in the fintech sector, financial services sector, on technology, and there is innovation coming up every now and then. So what exactly the challenges are coming up every other day, and the challenges are increasing in terms of the nature, in terms of the complexity and the volume. So what do you see in your team? How do you prepare your team, and what skills are you looking for when you are hiring someone? That is something very important for accountants.
Yes, Yes. I think when I hire, of course, I require technological knowledge. It is the base, but also I focus a lot on personality, motivation, and drive to learn, because such person has to really has to be able to learn, to teach themselves about emerging fintech business models. Yeah, this is involving to be close to the business, close to developers and IT, and really have that openness, ability to be really straightforward and explain the technological accounting challenges and try to understand what actually they are doing, what's the technology behind, and how to translate it to the accounting. Also, people with digital mindset, so people who are not afraid to really, get rid of those paper stuff or paper invoices and really go digital. We are trying to have everything fully digital here, and this involves automation across the whole finance function. Introducing bots. I have already introduced several bots that are helping a lot in the accounting. So the person should have that openness to technology and be flexible. So because business is growing very fast, it changes its course many times. So person should be really open and should be flexible to work and to prepare such controls or processes that could be very easily changed.
So I completely understand.
And of course, ethical mindset, because you have to be always careful. Sometimes you think it's all right, but there is really very small things that could make everything upside down. So be careful. Be really careful.
Yeah, for especially for financial institutions, because as I mentioned, you are a custodian of assets of a large number of people, so you have to be very ethical. But again, I really appreciate that you mentioned that in order to fully implement technology, you have to embrace the change. You have to yourself transform to the new norms. One thing that I missed asking you is cryptocurrencies. How do you suggest, considering while accounting for dealing with cryptocurrencies?
It's difficult area, cryptocurrencies, especially during this time when we have many incidents, like crypto exchange collapsing, going bankrupt, something like this. So there is also strict rules in each and every country. I'm talking about Europe, about the crypto. And for me, I have nothing against, but I can only say that AML and KYC are not enough in that case. We should go much more beyond that. We should cover a lot of more areas. For example, make sure that finance is maintaining really sound, good financial position for the entity, especially when talking to the regulator, when sending papers to the regulator. It should show really good position, and then to be able to show to the regulator how the business will further going or maintain itself as an entity without crypto. What will happen? How volatile is the business to the crypto? Of course, if you work with that. There are also customers' risks and how to be prepared for those risks and market manipulation. So this is really not easy subject and restricted in lots of countries, especially for fintechs. Basically, I think it's possible. Only you have to take a lot of precautions. Thanks.
Not a lot of ambiguity around the cryptocurrency is there, especially because of the fraud that you mentioned here. So governments are not very open to allow this. But I don't know if it seems like it's going to become the norm in the next few years, maybe. So one more question that I have with you, it's what do you recommend accounting and finance professionals to be doing? Like we have discussed a lot about, what are the accounting problems? You mentioned that IFRS 15 is very technical, especially it's very much relevant to the finance professionals, especially in fintech. And then you mentioned about the compliance and ethical issues that have to be kept in mind, and obviously to understand technology, to be able to account for it properly, you have to have understanding, you have to learn what it actually means, what it actually brings to the table. And so as an accountant who are mostly focused on the accounting issues, learning about accounting entries, because it's generally I would say that I have always seen accountants have this fear of, learning new things, going into that particular direction where they can, be able to have a detailed understanding of a lot of stuff. They want to just stick themselves to their particular role of accounting and maybe understand some compliance. And that is why finance is usually considered as always, as somebody who is a department that always creates hurdles for the business departments and the business sections. How would you recommend accountants to maybe change their perspective, maybe embrace the technology and this transformation or disruptions that is coming every now and then?
Yeah, I think it's definitely true that you say they have to change because the future is coming. Yeah, we have a technology coming which will do easy stuff for us. The simple bookkeeping, it will be done automatically by the bots. So what to go to the future, I think the finance departments should transform from the cost center to the profit driver. What I mean to the profit driver, I mean it to help the business to grow and to perform its strategy. So it means more data analysis, more thinking to the future. Don't just give a simple standard report, but make KPI and reports which are helping the business, and maybe they are finding some new trends that business can follow. So in that case, I think there is critical for the finance, especially when we have some trends in the market, like ESG is coming, like digital transformation, what I said, yes, lots of innovation. This involves also huge risk management area, that plus strategic thinking. So You have to compare it to the people competencies that you have and really think about for your finance department, how do you see it in the next 2 to 3 years? Because we have to adapt, I think, with the future.
Thank you very much for mentioning ESG as well. And I completely agree that we have to adopt, because every single day we come across a new challenging situation, whether it be finance or business related, and or it could be any industry. And one more important thing is that, as you mentioned, that we have to act as more business partners rather than the cost department. I completely agree with what you've said. Thank you very much, Ewa. That was a very exciting and very interesting discussion. I just wanted to keep it a Q&A session, so you could just dive into the questions and come up with the solutions and the answers that you have, and guide us on how we should be looking into the fintech and the accounting for fintechs. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure for me also.
Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to have you join us again sometime. Thank you very much.
Very happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you.